Hey everybody, Desert Growth Spurt back again with part two with my interview with Bigg Daddy. I'm just gonna jump right back into it. So Bigg Daddy, where we left off, we were talking about you going back out and you were starting to do some toppings. And I wanted to just go ahead, leave it right there. Tell us about going back out into the night or during the day, maybe, I don't know, and topping out your gorilla grow.
Okay. Um, yeah, so I typically would go out like dusk and I would top them immediately as soon as I put them in, and then I'd go and top them again probably somewhere in, end of July, give it a nice couple of tops. You could do three if you want. But
Nice.
then yeah, once you do that, if you're doing seeds that you don't know they're feminized, then you're gonna want to check usually around like August, September, August, um, like mid-August, and just make sure you don't have any
And,
male plant.
and is that August being about a month after you had physically put them in the ground?
Um, no, because you put them in probably like at end of June.
Okay.
When I put them in the fields, other people you're gonna put them in sooner.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. I just wanted to make, I'm just trying to get an idea for everybody how long when you really start looking for sexing
yeah.
different sexes. So,
The sex, I mean, if you're doing it indoor, obviously, if you're not using a feminized seed, you can trick it. You can do different things to trick it and find out what it is. But outdoor, you don't control the sun, so you have to wait until the end of summer when the hours the daylight hours start getting less.
gotcha.
So yeah,
Gotcha.
usually like around mid-August, you can um, find out if you got any mails. Maybe start
Okay.
checking early August, and then just keep your eye out. And if you got some mails, rip them out of there.
And just like a quick refresher, easy way to tell sex between a male and a female is your female is going to start producing the white pistils, and your males are actually going to start producing a pair of boys, we'll call it,
Yeah,
pollen sacs, ready to open and pollinate the female's pistils. So those are literally the two traits everyone's looking for. And you always kind of look for them uh, at the base of the branch, right, as they start splitting almost kind of where their legs open, and that's where you'll start seeing the sex, male, female of the plant. So anyway, please continue.
yeah. And so, and I mean, even if you put in some feminized plants, you're gonna want to check around that time anyway, just in case you might have got a hermaphrodite, which that does happen.
It does. It does.
and and so you don't want all your hard work to go to waste. So just go check. It doesn't take long, and rip them out of there. And I mean, for those that want, you can learn a little bit about saving the pollen, and you can actually pollinate just a branch if you want, or a whole nother plant.
Nice. So, all right. So you get out there, you've done some topping. So after your last time out of training, about how long after that are you looking for to get back out to actually harvest them?
Okay, so you pulled them any male out or hermaphrodite in mid-August, and then that's when it's going to start flowering and such. So you'll when you actually finally go out and take the plants would be around. I mean, basically, it's the first frost. Whenever the first frost happens, go get them. I
Okay.
mean, that's because it's going to kill them anyway. So you go
Okay,
get
so
them.
you're
I mean,
so Mother Nature's letting you know when it's time to go back out and grab them.
now if you have a large harvest that you're going to do, kind of like watch the weather and maybe start a little bit before the first frost, because it's it's going to take you some time with if you got a larger harvest to get it all done. You're not going to be able to just pull it all out at once and then do it all at once. So
Sure.
you're not going to want to leave plants in there after the first frost for a while, because then you're just gonna they're gonna die and they're gonna biodegrade and all that stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Now, normally when you're growing in the cornfields, is that about the same time when the corn's starting to get harvested? Is around that first frost?
They they do start doing um the farmers in my area, like I said, they do beans and corn and they alternate. So they will start with the beans
Okay.
first. So
Okay.
so that'll give you a chance to to kind of wait a little longer. But I mean, if you start seeing that they're trimming corn, man, get your ass out there and get them.
Yeah. Call up some people, help you out.
Yeah. But usually, yeah, you're usually gonna be safe for the corn until like mid-November. Like
Okay.
maybe a little earlier
Sure.
than that, but yeah, like you'll be
Yeah.
safe probably till around that.
And as we know, especially like these last couple of years, the shifts in weather, normally hot times aren't normally hot. And like, as we're recording this, I'm currently looking at 103 out in my grow room. It's gnarly, and it's what, September 1st, I do believe. Yes.
Yeah.
Um, so I do want to actually touch base real quick. I know we're kind of plowing through because at this point it's kind of just letting Mother Nature do her thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you're kind of just watching the signs of when to get back out there. Because at this point, we're not really doing any more training. Am I correct?
Oh no, yeah, you're done with your training.
Okay. So after the last couple toppings, it's just let them go. And so,
Yeah, you
okay.
can go out. You could go out and start like trimming off some of the bigger fan leaves, and just to like give yourself less work later.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Honestly,
If you got access to it, yeah,
yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Redo some of that. So the big question is how do you get it all out? Okay. Um, because that we all know that's like crunch time. We've put in all this hard work for months on end, and it's go time. So how do you go about very incognito trying to get out what do you say, almost 100 plants, 75, 80 plants that were female? How do you go about getting that out of a field?
All right, so the first year, um, like we said, yeah, that was a ridiculous
Yeah.
thing. Uh, it was just I took a van and I had a trailer that it was like an enclosed trailer.
Okay.
The buddy had, he used it for like, he had a carpenter's business, so
Sure.
we pulled all
Yeah.
the stuff out of there and we stacked them in there. We just pulled up. I went out pre before doing it and cut down the plants, got them close to the edge of the field, and then once I was ready, had them come up with the truck, the van, and the trailer. And that, honestly, with a big trailer like that, I mean, it wasn't massive like a car hauler, but it was,
Uh,
a decent tool trailer.
sure.
Um, and the van, which I took the back seat out and the middle captain chairs out, so it was, almost like a pickup truck.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, the amount of space, and so I would say like maybe like 15 to 20 plants with all that I was able to get out of there.
Jeez.
So yeah, I mean, I had to make several trips that same way.
That one. Okay.
And
So in general, any suggestions for people on how to sneakily get their stuff out? Who maybe don't necessarily need a van, or is that maybe the route to go?
um, well, and see, and then the other thing was too, as I didn't I didn't spread it out that first year either. We went like day after day till I got everything out of there, and then had the nightmare of all that to trim all at once very quickly. So that's a whole.
We'll get to
That's the
that.
next thing we're gonna get to. Um, but yeah, so obviously, depending on how big you want to go, think about what you're gonna need something to get those things out of there. And I mean, these these things take up about two 2.5 foot radius. So think about that. Even when you're scrunching it together, it's gonna take up some space. So if you
Yeah.
have, even with a van, you maybe can get 7, 8, 9,
Yeah, with
10
how
in
big
there.
they get. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
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 that's
that's
gonna take up
something.
the whole back.
Yeah, just for for people who aren't necessarily kind of visualizing this,
Yeah,
the height basically of a corn stalk, but then almost 3 feet in circumference, I would guess, being
yeah,
outside. So
yeah.
yeah,
Think
seven.
like a skinny Christmas tree.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, skinny
And
creek.
that's what you have to deal with. Yeah, the branches can scrunch together and stuff. So yeah, you could fit some in, but a pickup truck, for instance, the back of your pickup truck, you're gonna get maybe six,
Sure,
and you're gonna
sure.
have to throw a tarp over it. So that's
Yeah,
just something to
that's
think about. If you got a little car, well then, think about the fact that, all right, in your trunk, maybe you can do one plant at a time, because you'll have to take one plant, cut it in half, and it'll become two pieces that you can maybe fit in your trunk.
that's not a bad idea. Kind of breaking it down out in the field, you take like a pair of heavy duty shears with you.
Yep. Yeah.
Since you're
They're
going to be
done.
breaking
Yeah.
it down anyway, might as well. If space is a concern, like you said,
Yep.
maybe you do only have like a small car. That's a good idea. Kind of just doing some of that quick breakdown out in the field, and I mean, we all know there's sacrifices that need to be made. The All that larf and stuff that's down at the bottom, you just get rid of that anyway.
Exactly. Yeah. And I mean, I didn't have a van every year. I
Yeah,
that was that was that year. I went many times with cars, and
sure.
take tarps with you. Cover your trunk with it, cover your back seat with it. You get 2 or 3 plants out of there at a time.
Yeah. So, all right. So now you get it all out. I'm going to assume, you've moved it all into a safe environment.
Hmm.
Um, so now trimming. Okay. I think I can safely speak on behalf of all growers everywhere. You hate trimming. Trimming sucks. It's called trim jail for a reason. We've all come up with fancy names like trim jam. You put music on. Doesn't make it any more fun. It,
No.
it really doesn't. And that is something, it is the fruits of our labor. So we all definitely try to do a good job. Um, but when you're doing a large harvest like this, what is your first plan of attack when you're pulling out just literal Christmas trees and you got to trim all this down? What are you doing?
Okay. All right. Again, so we'll talk about that crazy year, and then a normal year.
Sure.
The crazy year, basically, I called upon um some people that I knew that were in to those kind of plants,
Into our
and
recreational.
I said, look, I'm giving away whole plants to anybody that helps me trim, my own. And
Nice.
so,
Do you
they
have to
came
train them
very quickly.
on-site training?
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries.
Gotta
There's a reminder for Bigg Daddy.
Hey, that's all right. We all got
Thank you,
stuff
Julie.
going on. That's good to see Alexa's still working. Someone's
Yep,
got to.
yep, exactly.
So
So
were you doing some like real quick on the fly training on how to trim up, or were you just kind of letting
no,
them?
these were all people that knew what they were
They knew
doing,
what they were
and
doing.
yeah, yeah.
That's yeah, makes it a
That's
little
why I
bit
called on
easier.
them, and I was like, in fact, I think for a couple of the days, uh, I just didn't want to attract too much attention to, like, my own house at the time.
Of
So
course.
I went and got like a motel, like a
Okay.
couple of motel rooms, we just, and ordered pizzas and got some beers, and we just kind of made a little party of it, hung out, listened to music, and just trimmed away for days.
I mean, yay!
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, sorry. I've spent way too much time in trim jail. I can't get enthusiastic, even though the end is so worth it. I hate it. I hate it.
You're right at the
No,
end of the race, though. It's like, man, just get that little bit of energy
yeah,
back and let's do
you,
it.
yep, you spent all this time just muster through, hurt your back a little bit. Your hands will hurt. It's
And
worth
then,
it.
in that year, it was crazy. Everything didn't turn out great. I mean, I got a lot of great plants at the end, but there was some that, because I took it all out at once, some of the leaves, the big fan leaves, just started drying up into the rest of the plant, and it wasn't as good.
Sure, you lose some quality, I would imagine,
Yep.
having to do some
Which
emergency tactics.
is why that's why I'll tell people, even if you've got, only 5 or 6, stagger it. Don't take it all out at once. You don't have to. Go get a couple, handle those, trim them up, start drying them, hang them, and then go to the next ones. Because while you're working on them other ones, if you got all the other plants out, they're dying. They're slowly dying, and those leaves are gonna, they're gonna die into your flowers.
Sure. So, okay. So I like this method. So you're staggering, because if I remember correctly, you had, I think you said
Incorrect
three.
years. Incorrect
Yeah,
years.
yeah, yeah. So
Not
if
bad.
you have a couple different sections, you go out, you grab out your first section, you bring it in, you trim it. So then you're already starting to cure that first one.
Mhm.
Then you go out, batch two, we'll call it, and then the process continues. So, real quick, I do want to touch on curing. Being a home grower and just doing it for myself, I'm very easily able to do all my curing in glass jars.
Correct.
That no problem. I got, even on my really nice yields, they make really big glass jars. Now, I cannot picture a glass jar big enough for your crazy year. Um,
Yeah.
how do you go about when you're talking that much weight? How do you
Mhm.
go about curing that much weight at one time without starting to run the risk of mold? Or let me start
Yeah.
with drying.
Mhm.
How do you dry all of it? And
Right.
then we'll
Yeah.
get into the curing, please. No
Yeah.
problem.
When you take it down, you're gonna trim it real fast. Well, not real fast, but you're gonna trim it, and then you're gonna, you can do a couple methods if you want to trim off, clip off the nugs. You could put it on a screen, and which will allow the air to come up underneath it and on top of it, and it'll,
Okay.
help dry it.
Yep.
And then, or you can hang dry it, which is usually what I like to do, because there's still plenty of good stuff in all them stalks and stems that'll slowly absorb into your buds
Yeah.
while it's hanging and drying. So, and it all
Nice.
just depends on, what sort of area you've got to work with to do it. Sometimes I had to use the screens, um, because I had to move them around, and
Sure.
for whatever reasons, you might have a roommate or something. Um, hang drying is what I prefer, though.
Yeah.
So if you got the space, just, you hang a rope, or whatever it is, and you just hang them up.
Yeah, nice, nice. So okay,
Yeah,
so once you get them all like dried up, all right, we're trimmed. Now we're getting ready to start curing them. All right,
correct. Yeah.
yeah. So
Which
now
I was
now we're
jumping
getting
way ahead
ready.
to already.
Yeah, what I would do, after they're dried and trimmed, I would then throw them in
Mm,
the jars. And
right.
yeah, like again, small batch home grower. Yeah, I go first day, I'll burp my jars probably two, maybe three times a day for the first few days. Then I'll get down to like once a day, every other day, and then
Ouch.
I put those little moisture reader,
Yeah,
little
those are
black
great. I
things you
love
get on
those things.
Amazon. You throw
Yep.
one of those in. As soon as I hit about 62 percent in the jar, I just stop burping it. But I'm usually dipping into it shortly thereafter. So I don't do a whole lot of long-term storage. But
Yeah,
anyway,
yeah.
so small batch, real easy to control. Real easy for me
Mhm.
to control that moisture and the humidity that's in there. So how do you go about curing that large amount?
Okay. And obviously I started kind of getting into it a little earlier, ahead of myself. And there's gonna be other methods you can find out there to do it
Of
differently.
course. Oh
But
yes.
I use the simple method of just throwing it in the garbage bag, and tying it up. It's the equivalent of putting it in a jar and sealing the lid. And with a bigger amount, I didn't burp it, you know, multiple times a day. I would in the beginning, you just wait 24 hours and then you open the bag up, and you start letting it dry again, shake it up, make sure, everything, flows around. You're not going to
Yeah.
fill the garbage bag to the brim. You fill it about halfway so that you can put some air in there and shake it around.
Gotcha. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, you'll wait again. There's not a time period for when you tie the bag up necessarily. You just wait until, you feel the nugs. It feels like they're dry. And
Yep.
then you're like,
Yep.
oh, okay, tie it up again, wait another 24 hours, open it up. You're going to feel the moisture all over the bag, and you'll feel the flowers there, and they're going to feel like moist again. You
Yeah.
just keep
So
doing that over and over.
almost kind of like when they get like a little spongy and
Hmm.
have that give back, right? And
Right. Yeah.
give it a squeeze. You can feel, you almost hear a little crunching going on, but then it bounces right back. You're like, all right, done, nice and
Right.
sticky, and you almost got to fling it like a booger sometimes. Those are great. I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you just throw it back in, tie the bag up again, and just keep doing that over and over. And I mean, yeah, eventually you'll notice that, you know, it dries quicker, and it takes longer to get re-moisten up. It's the same thing as just burping it, multiple
Mhm.
times a day, and then down to once a day, and then once a week.
Yeah,
But it's different timing because it's such a large amount.
sure. That makes sense. So, how much of that did you end up keeping for yourself, and how much went to friends and family of the crazy year? Of the crazy year.
It's a crazy year. Aside from what I gave away, just to help trim, which, like, I'd say in the end, out of those like 75, 80 plants, I think I gave away like almost half of it just to help with
Okay,
trim the other.
why not, right?
I mean, it was, because like I said, I didn't space it out, so I was like, at first I'm like, yeah, it's no problem, but then I started noticing the other plants, and I'm like, man, this is gonna this
This
is
is
gonna
going to be a
bite me if I
problem.
don't get yeah if I don't get some people helping me. It'll be this stuff won't be any good anyway. So it's like I might as well give some away to people that I know will appreciate it, and then maybe return the favor to me someday. And
Yeah, there you go.
which, yeah, every one of those people were people that I knew, and have all helped me out at times before, and I've helped them out, and it works out.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's one thing I do love about this community. I myself here in Arizona, I'm in with like a nice small group of, again, guys and gals that just grow for themselves. And we all kind of just trade jars with each other, so
That's great.
you get something nice, and I'm like, I got plenty, and we all just, like I said, we'll fill up like a mason jar and return the jar filled, right? Kind of like the
Yeah.
neighbor casserole dish type thing. We just do it with
Exactly. Yeah.
our
Yeah, like a
plants.
potluck. Everybody
It's like a
brings their food
potluck,
and shares it.
literally.
Yeah, a flower potluck.
Yep. Yeah, love it.
That's
Oh,
awesome. So,
great.
So yeah, so that year with the 40 plants, I think I probably ended up with about like 50 pounds.
Damn,
Yeah.
that's nice. That's
So
real. You know, I won't dive into what you did with your section of that 50, but I know it's joyous times over in the Big Daddy household when he walks
yeah,
in with 50.
times were pretty good there.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, that's great.
and you know, and I'll I'm gonna be honest that that first year or two there were a couple of small mistakes that ended up making it not as great because what happened was I had the three different sections, and as I said, I went and pulled out all the males, and then it turned out that a hermaphrodite popped up, and it ended up pollinating like all of them a little bit.
In one of the sections.
One section got really pollinated, and then which that was some of the stuff I gave away.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, you know,
Yeah, hey, it's got some seeds in it.
it's got some seeds in it. I
Yeah.
mean, we're a little bit of the older generation. All of our weed had
Exactly.
seeds
Yeah,
in it.
back then, that
That's
was normal.
this is
Like
what you had. So,
exactly everything you had seeds in it. So,
yep, yeah,
and then the ones that were a little further away didn't get as pollinated, but they still got pollinated. So it was like in the end, it was high quality mids,
yeah,
but it
sure,
had seeds in it, so it just had to be treated as regs.
yeah,
Which
no
for
big
those that
deal.
don't know, that means regular wheat.
Yep. But again, with the style of growing that we're referring to, we're obviously in a prohibition era,
Correct.
or area, I guess I should say.
And
With
era. I mean,
and
back then,
era, yeah,
there was
yeah, there's
no
still,
states that
I
had
mean, we're
any legality back then.
no, yeah, there was no medical, there was nothing. Everyone had the joke about my uncle's got glaucoma. That was the joke back in the day. But yeah, now it has definitely come a long way. And, as far as myself, I'm thankful I don't have to partake in any of those grows. Um, I know you had mentioned those days are long gone. Well, I do want to dive into here shortly about what you got going on. I know off screen, you kind of let me know a sneak peek of what you got going on at your place right now. So I'm kind of excited to talk to you about that. But I do just kind of want to quick recap that the purpose of all this information we're providing is we understand there's still people that are in prohibition areas and don't have choices.
Yeah.
And when it comes to the medicinal purpose of these plants, I'm not here to argue whether what's effective and what's not. But there's people that uh, will preach on a mountain how it helps them, and they should definitely be allowed to go ahead and take care of themselves. So that way, part of the information is to let them know that there is a way. You don't necessarily have to buy a grow tent or make a closet or convert a section of your garage into a grow room. Sometimes you got to go back out into nature and get back in touch with nature and do it that way. Whether it's on your land, that's a whole semantic about owning land. So, with that, I will thank you for all of that information. I know it's, I guess, what they would call taboo, because it's not exactly a liked topic by a lot of people, which is understood. But now with all of our lawmakers agreeing with us that we should be allowed to do this ourselves. Now I would like to ask you, no more guerrilla growing. What do you got going on now?
Yeah. So now, I mean, and as we said before, guerrilla growing is simply outdoor growing on in a space that's not necessarily yours. So I still do a little outdoor, just to kind of still you know
Free
keep up
life.
with it. Yeah, I like doing it.
Yep.
And I also have a tent,
Okay.
which
What size tent did you end up getting?
I got the 5x5
Very nice. Very
by
nice.
7
Yep.
foot high.
Yeah.
And in my state, the laws are you can't grow outside. Um, and it has to be in an enclosed space that
Okay.
can't be accessed. So all I did was I didn't have space for my tent indoors.
Okay.
So I kind of like found a little loophole and I built like a little shed around it kind of.
Kind of enclosed the
Yeah.
tent.
Closed it.
So you have your actual grow tent is right outside your house, and then you
Yeah.
put a little enclosure around it.
Yeah.
So when your
Like a
neighbors
shed.
look at it, looks like a shed.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
It's just like
this
a
guy
shed.
built a whole shed in an afternoon. This guy's amazing. You're going to get a whole bunch of contractor jobs all of a sudden, buddy.
Yeah, I'll put some pictures up on Instagram of uh the shed and inside the tent and such. And
And
I'll
if you could, real quick, where can people find you on Instagram?
you know what? I think you probably know it better than I do.
I
I
do
think it's
believe
Big Daddy 420, right?
it is Big Daddy 420, but with underscores in between. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah, that's right.
big with two G's underscore daddy underscore 420. And that is where you can find his photos, including the photos he was referring to the last video where he laid a plant out and has it going two separate directions where it's incredible. It's just like on a board trying to
Yeah,
run away from itself is what it looks like. It's incredible
yeah,
to look at.
yeah. While it grows, it's just growing. I keep putting strings on it to keep it down at the end, and it's slowly growing sideways. It's real interesting, which is something people could do in a tent too if they got a tent, put it in there, put a board down, spread the branches that way if you want. It's just different methods of training.
Absolutely. Yeah, and what's nice is when people do go see that picture, as you're laying it down, just naturally, it's starting to get all these new branches poking up from it spreading out. So that is going to be incredible.
Yeah,
Um,
and I kind of started that one a little late, and the next time around I kind of want to do that, and those ones that are poking up like that, I want to pinch those
yeah, top them
early
off.
on and turn them into two.
Yep.
Yeah, and it'll just, I mean, that thing will just be crazy.
Yeah, I have not posted it yet, but I as of yesterday, I have a couple photos that I just started in my auto run because my autos
Oh,
are getting ready to finish up here. So I popped a OG Kush with runts and Gorilla Glue number 4 mixed with Josh D cookies. So the Gorilla Glue, I filmed that one. Now filming, it's stands for F, I missed. So when you're going to top, you go in at a slight angle and you accidentally clip off that leaf right next to it. So
mhm.
you're doing like a weird, you have one side that's left normal
Yeah,
and then it comes out
yeah,
like this.
two,
So you're getting three tops
three
out
of
of
them.
it. So I filmed that one. I have them spread and now the other two nodes underneath. So it's almost going to have like a hand, 5 nodes coming out of this one. And then
That'd be cool.
yeah. And then the other one I topped it and I have it bent over and I was inspired by one of your photos. I'm going to go ahead and spiral it around the bucket while it's in veg stage to get one of those really cool looking spiral stalks
Yeah,
at the end there, and
yeah.
all that
That
trimming
was
out.
that was that was such a it was just a fluke how that one worked out, and I agree. I thought it was really interesting how it was able to spread it out when you do it in a
Yeah,
spiral like that.
how it all opened up in the middle. I thought that was really,
Yeah,
as far as like even just airflow for it,
yeah,
I thought that was really neat, and I'm very interested to try it myself. I got to tell you, I was inspired by that, and I can't. Well, I am trying it. I don't know how it'll turn out, but we're all going to see. We're all going to watch it
Yeah,
together.
exactly.
My photos but will be found on Instagram, as well as my weekly update that I do on this channel, the grow room, desert growing indoors little playlist I got going, just tracking everything, the good and bad with all this heat, because
Yeah,
it's not all good.
there's always some problems here and there. Just
Very
gotta deal.
nice. So, so I do want to appreciate you coming on, giving all this great information. Hopefully, we don't want to condone any illegal activities anywhere of any kind. But we do just want to remind people that there are options. You are not necessarily stuck. People have been doing this forever, and many different
Yeah,
ways of doing it, and many different places of doing it. So again, thank you. Your knowledge has been very valuable, and I know a lot of people appreciate it. Um, Finishing up, everyone, go check him out on Instagram. These photos look incredible. And again, I got to brag about the one on the board. That's just crazy looking. Um,
thank you.
as far as me and you go, I do believe we are actually going to be doing another little solo project. We'll keep that under wraps, but everyone keep a lookout for that. We plan on doing some maybe some weekend morning sessions with everybody, and just kind of
Yeah,
going
I'm
over
very excited about
topics.
that.
Yeah, so be on the lookout. We got that coming up. We'll probably start doing those a little after the holiday this weekend. But anyway, do the normal thing that YouTube wants you to do. I want to thank everyone for listening in and soaking up this information. As always, reach out, find us on Instagram. We both got a bunch of amazing photos. And as always, stay tuned for the next one. Thank you guys.
All right, thank you.